Hey, fellow freaksters, it's Tim from the Moratorium. Just here to remind you that if you enjoy what you hear, please like, share, and subscribe, then rinse and repeat. We're just a couple of small-town nerds trying to make sweet geek love to your ear holes, and we could use your support. Check out our website for movie reviews, links to social media, merch, movies, and more. You can find us at themoratorium.com. Now that that's out of the way, on with the shenanigans. Welcome to the Moratorium. I'm your host, Tim Kornman. Each week I will be joined by some esteemed, and I use that term loosely, movie watchers, and breaking down some of the weirdest and strangest films to ever, not necessarily, grace the big screen. These are the deep dive oddities and backroom bootlegs that appeal only to the die-hard film fans. So sit back and enjoy the ride into the dark vault of the movie moratorium.
Good timing.
Was that good timing?
Hmm?
Do you know Lane Smith got his start in a movie called Unholy Matrimony? Yeah.
Okay.
He was uncredited as party goer.
Yeah.
1966.
Can you imagine a Lane Smith like partying?
I want to see this just to get
Oh,
him
man. Like,
boogieing down.
yep.
Yeah.
Like him and Mike Pence just hanging out, throwing back.
Two wild and crazy guys. God, he was 30 when that came out. I can't imagine him being young either.
No.
Wow.
His facial expressions in this movie that we're doing, just unbelievable. Unbelievable. It's like he's wearing a rubber mask. It's just rubbery, and the space between like the bottom of his nose to his lip is like at least 2 3/4 3 inches.
You're saying he could really use a push broom mustache? I guess I never realized how big of an upper lip he had.
This entire movie, his mouth is agape, his brow is beetling, and he's just a madman. He's like a insane Mormon deacon or something.
Yeah. I could see him pushing Bibles.
Yeah. Door-to-door Bible salesman.
Mm-hmm.
So
I've got about 7 tabs open.
I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Too many to count. Tell me why I have 2 tabs that say "Let's Get Harry."
Oh.
And I think that's because I was looking at
Let's Get Harry?
Yeah, exactly. That was not, I wasn't just, I meant to look up "Let's Get Harry."
You meant to look it up, but not so many times?
Right. I thought once would be enough. It's got Glenn Fry in it. How do you feel about that?
I don't know how I feel about that. All right, so, hey, welcome to the Moratorium.
Thank you.
All right. I'm your host, Tim Kornman. And with me, as always, is...
Jason Walker.
There you go.
Me. The other guy.
The other guy. Just one time do I want to be the guy.
Mm-hmm. One guy.
One guy. Where's his asshole partner?
I think Lane Smith was giving me some Dan Hedaya vibes.
Really?
Don't you think?
Yeah?
There's a couple of scenes where he's got those big eyes, and when he's like looking down but like up, his head is pointing down but he's looking up.
Mm-hmm.
He looks pretty creepy.
There are a couple of looks in this film that...
Yeah, when he wakes up from the couple of nightmares that he has, it made me laugh. Because he was like Lane Smith's O-face or something.
Well, and he had a sheet wrapped around his neck.
Mm-hmm. That was weird.
Yeah.
Like, I get tangled up in sheets when I'm sleeping, but I never roll one up and just wrap it around my neck.
No, that had to be intentional.
Yeah. Yeah, he was doing that before he fell asleep.
That's right.
Are you supposed to think that, I mean, he did have that sheet wrapped pretty tight around his neck. I guess that'll just have to.
Yeah, we'll have to weed out several things that were questionable in this film.
Yeah, which is Prison. 1986?
87, but it looks like it may have been held over to 88. It's just questionable when it was released. Because I was reading about that, it's mainly because Empire International was going through bankruptcy.
Which is Charles Band's.
That's right.
First company, right?
I thought it was just released by Charles Band. No. It was produced by Charles Band.
Right.
It's hard not to do a Band film, I think.
Yeah.
Right.
You have to
keep running
actively
into
avoid it.
Yeah.
God, you look at his IMDb and it just goes on and on and on. Like, you forget sometimes how many, like, Puppet Master movies there are. There's probably, like, have you ever counted them? There's got to be like 12 or something, right?
At least. There's another one coming out that actually looked pretty cool.
All of them have something to endear you to them.
All right, so Prison. Hey, read it off for our listeners here. Find the tab that had just Prison.
Right. Okay. I got it now. The spirit of a long-dead prisoner returns for revenge, as they do, haunting the prison's new governor. He's not a governor.
No.
He's a warden. Wait a minute now.
Warden?
No, I'm confused. Well, anyway, he's we're going to call him the warden. Whether he's the governor or not, that remains to be seen. I mean, the summary is pretty, like, concise. That's what I learned this viewing was, like, you really understand the story because of the, like, tropes that it uses. You know, it's definitely not from them telling you what's happening, because they don't until, like, you know, 3/4 of the way through the movie. But we've seen stuff like this before. You get it. It's like a long X-Files. I probably haven't watched it in 6 or 7 years, and the deaths are really what, that's the highlight of the show, is all the different gruesome deaths.
A good, like, little supernatural twist to it.
Yeah. And Viggo Mortensen. He just makes everything better.
I had this Mandela effect moment when I saw his name pop up on the screen. I swore there was a G in his last name. I thought it was Mortensen, It's just Mortensen.
Are you so distracted that his name is Viggo that you just, like, blunder over the last name? It's like...
Yeah.
Yeah.
I just expect there to be more G's in his name.
Yeah. You could use another... Well...
You could use a few more G's.
I just always, obviously think of Ghostbusters 2. I know. It's stupid, but it's like, we know 2 people named Viggo.
Yep.
Viggo Mortensen and Viggo the Carpathian. So, do you know of another Viggo off the top of your head?
That's it. There's only room for 2.
Yeah.
They should square off.
They should battle for supremacy. Wait, didn't we find out that Viggo from Carpathia died?
Oh, maybe. Probably.
We should probably look up that actor's name, because he comes up for 2 movies. He comes up for In the Mouth of Madness and Ghostbusters 2.
We talked about him once before. We looked him up before. Well, I don't want to go back and...
You guys get it. Do your own research. We're not here to...
Google it.
We're not going to spoon feed you.
we do that already.
Yeah. It's kind of the whole point of the podcast. It links back to YouTube from IMDb. Even just Lane Smith, just looking at things. It's just... His face is, like, ape-like. If you told me that some of his, like, reaction scenes were done with, like, animatronics, like the stuff they used in, like, Total Recall, that's what it looks like. It looks like some talented sci-fi artist just recreated him, but, like, out of foam latex.
Yeah.
Wild.
I love Lane Smith. I really do.
Yeah.
And it's probably from my cousin Vinny.
Right. And in the sequel, My Cousin Jimmy. I think that's what you're starting.
I am sober. I am totally sober. I am not drinking today.
Yeah, me neither.
All right.
Which feels weird.
Yep.
Especially.
We're going to be so boring. Sorry, guys.
Yeah. Do you just want to call it off?
Yeah.
Oh, my God. Lane Smith, Pauly Shore. I don't know. I'm not going to even. I'm going to close those tabs. That was the kid from Sandlot.
Yes. Yeah.
All right.
The weird-looking kid.
We both have fondness for this movie.
Yeah, it was fun. Now, like we said, with the deaths, but really, were there that many deaths in the film?
No, there weren't very many, but they were like so over the top.
Yes.
When you think that this movie doesn't have a very big budget, because they really are shooting in a prison.
Mm-hmm.
I guess, was it an abandoned prison, or it certainly looked like it wasn't up and operating. Although this was the 80s, so I don't know.
Well, you ready for me to drop some knowledge on you?
Yeah, go ahead.
All right, straight from Wikipedia on prison. The film was shot on location at the former Wyoming State Penitentiary. Penitentiary.
Again, you're putting so many letters in.
I know. There's a couple of G's in there, right? Penitentiary.
No.
Whatever.
No,
in the Wyoming State Prison in Rawlins, Wyoming.
Now you can't say Wyoming. You said it perfectly earlier.
The facility had been vacant since its closure in 1981 after the construction of a new prison. I'm just going to say prison.
Okay.
And it was made freely available for the film production after the producer, Irwin Yablans. I got to talk about him too, because that sounds like a fake name. It sounds like an alias.
It sounds like something that you develop you have to get tested for when you're over 40. You need to have a talk with your doctor about your Irwin Yablans. Hey, doc, take a look at this. My Yablans look bigger than they were last time.
They feel like they've grown.
It hurt when I touch them.
So, producer Irwin Yablans approached the state during a search for abandoned prison facilities as a setting for the movie. Because the facility was slated for demolition and little regard was given for its preservation, the production crew was offered free license to make permanent, oftentimes destructive modifications as necessary.
It did blow a lot of stuff up.
Yeah, did.
There is so much fake concrete being thrown around, and
this included drilling a large passage through the prison's reinforced concrete perimeter wall, which was mocked up as a vehicle gate for the film. In 1988, the facility was purchased by a joint ownership board who reestablished it as a museum. So, interesting.
Yeah. Well, I'm watching the scene where an inmate is kind of behind the walls, and, kind of like Shawshank Redemption stuff. And it looks dangerous. It looks like that actor should not be in there.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of sharp edges, but that is kind of cool that it is a real, reason.
This was interesting. As Rennie Harlan was living out of his car when he was approached to direct this film.
So somebody walked up to his car and said, "Hey, you want to direct this film?
You busy?"
Yeah. Did we mention that Rennie Harlan directed this?
Nope. It doesn't feel like a Rennie Harlan film.
No, I was thinking that because I have seen his movies and they're not.
Give me a breakdown on Rennie. You got a tab open on him?
Yeah. He's Finnish. All I know him as is kind of a crappy director. But then you look at his movies.
And you're like, I've seen that. I've seen that. I've seen that.
Yeah.
I've seen all of these films.
Long Kiss Goodnight. That forgives a lot of stuff because I love that movie. Haven't watched it a long time. Could have problems, but I don't know. I think they started saying that around Cutthroat Island time when I think it was a big flop.
I think it was supposed to be huge and probably lost a lot of money.
It had $100 million budget and it made $10 million. So yeah.
Fuck. Yeah.
For a time, the biggest flop in Hollywood history. But then he did Deep Blue Sea, which is not good. I've watched it probably more than 2 or 3 times.
But he came back with Long Kiss Goodnight, and
yes,
which right off the heels of Cutthroat Island.
He's like, okay, I need to just stick with doing what I do best, which is just blowing shit up.
Mm-hmm. Which, also had Gina Davis in it. I didn't mind Cutthroat Island. It wasn't a bad
I've
movie.
never seen it.
Never seen it?
Never seen it.
It was, swashbuckly.
Did he actually direct The Nightmare on Elm Street 4?
It looks like it.
Hang on.
The Dream Master.
Oh, yeah, not my favorite one, but had some cool stuff in it.
Mm-hmm. So, anyway, lots of stuff going on.
Yeah, yeah, we started probably 6 or 7 conversations. But that's just it for Rennie Harlan. I don't know. I love this movie. I think it's well directed. And he did The Adventures of Ford Fairlane. He's my favorite director now.
Okay, he's now your favorite director. Well, the opening of this film, now...
The opening of this film is hard to see.
Did it give you a title card of what prison?
Nope.
What year?
Nope.
Nothing.
I rewound it a couple of times to see if there was a card that just said Wyoming State Prison, 1950-something, or, But no, you just get the cold open, no information execution scene. I'm watching it on YouTube. That opening scene is hard to watch.
Yeah.
It looks like instead of cheesecloth, they put cheese on the lens. Maybe they read that you could that's what it seems like is that type of thing is for dream sequences and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Not for just flashbacks,
Right. It's either that or, Cheech and Chong were just
oh, yeah,
huffing it down, right?
Yeah, well, everybody is smoking in this movie.
Oh, yeah. But there's no real setup other than it's Lane Smith playing a younger Lane Smith.
Yeah.
As a guard.
Yeah.
Who I guess is just an asshole guard who walks a prisoner into the electric chair.
Yes.
Sits him down, steals his necklace, which was just a crucifix. They strap him in and electrocute him. You don't get to see the face of who it is. But I read...
No, I think that is Viggo Mortensen.
It was Viggo.
Yeah. He is Viggo.
He is Viggo.
Okay, that's the only one I'm doing, okay?
I don't know how you're going to keep away from it. I don't know.
Look, I've got willpower.
Do you?
Sometimes.
Sometimes.
And that execution room, it's like a broom closet. When it shows the guys behind the glass, they're 1 foot away from the chair. It's just not a big space.
No. And I think I was reading that the Wyoming State Prison did not have the electric chair.
Mm-hmm.
They had the gas chamber, and I think this was the gas chamber.
And they just built a chair.
So I think that's what I read here on some of the trivia for IMDb. Give credit always to IMDb and Wikipedia, because that's about as far as I go.
Yeah. Yeah.
There's not a whole lot of information on these oddball films.
No, there's not. And Chelsea Field, I don't have a lot to say about her. Well, okay, let's finish the first this cold open, and then we'll talk about
the electrocution
mm-hmm.
of said inmate that we don't get to see.
Right. You don't get any clues, nothing.
I don't know if I want to talk. Do you want to talk about this now? About the whole plot?
The whole plot. Let's wait until the end, because we can speculate. That's what took me so long to call you, is I was like, am I understanding this absolutely 100%? And the answer was, I don't know. It just seems like a cut and dry story, but then they just leave a major part of it out that is confusing to understand.
Yes. When they electrocute him, it's kind of like...
They didn't wet the sponge.
That's exactly what I wanted to say.
It's
it's a total Green Mile.
Yeah.
He sets on fire pretty quick. I mean, flames just appear on him so quick.
Yeah, he's dehydrated.
We jump out of that You said it looked like a dream sequence.
Oh, right, it is.
Lane Smith has his sheet around the neck, lurching out of bed, wearing
Oh my God.
a blindfold.
Yeah. It's like, okay, how much of this is the evil spirit and how much is just what you were doing in bed?
But his wide mouth scream, he is...
Looks like a Homer Simpson.
Oh, yeah.
He's drooling. You know, some people can just like drool on command. It's like,
I've tried.
yeah.
It's not easy.
Also, it's gross. But Lane Smith is really good at it.
So did they call him in the middle of the night to say that, hey, we're reopening this prison. We want you to be
I don't know.
the warden and or the governor?
Oh, no. Who is calling him?
He hangs the phone up, and there's a small pan down that shows the necklace that he took from the prisoner.
Yeah.
So is he just holding on to this thing? Why would he do that to
exactly
himself?
If you're having like violent nightmares about this thing that and the necklace is involved, and throw that necklace away.
Get rid of it.
I'm no psychologist, but it's probably what's causing these fucking picking at a scab.
We meet Chelsea Field.
Mm-hmm. I did not look her up at all. I assume she is just a TV actress from around that time.
But Chelsea Field, she made me think of Amanda Peet for some reason, because when I saw her face, I was thinking Amanda Peet.
It's like Earth related. Like her name's Field, her name's Pete, Pete Moss. You know what I mean?
So, anyway, in this movie, she's just a spokesperson for the...
I mean, without thinking about it too much, she's like HR, right? She's like
maybe so.
Trying to make sure that the prisoners are being kept in humane conditions and stuff like that, I guess. But the movie doesn't really tell you, so who cares?
Right.
And also, she's not there for much, you know?
No. Did we say that she was Virginia Slim and Harley Davidson and the Marlboro Man?
No, we didn't.
Okay.
But we did just then.
I'll state it now.
I've seen that movie
too many times.
I don't want to think about it. I used to love it.
It has Daniel Baldwin and Tom Sizemore in it.
And Giancarlo Esposito. Let's not forget.
Giancarlo, I love him. I really do.
Yeah, he's great and everything.
I loved him in Breaking Bad. He was a great character.
Well, he's also in Gray Matter, one of the episodes for the Creep Show. I brought up Robert Ginty before. I know I have.
I feel like we should have.
He's in Harley Davidson, the Marlboro Man. Tia Carrera, man.
A lot of people.
Tom Sizemore.
I just looked at Robert Ginty because he was in The Exterminator, which had Christopher George.
Mm-hmm.
And why did I even
Did you
click
say
on
Chad
this?
Christopher George?
No, it was Had Christopher George.
Oh,
Chad Christopher. I just gave him another name.
Chad
Christopher George in...
Can't take you seriously as an actor unless you have 5 names.
Oh, it's because Tom Everett was in The Exterminator, which Everett plays Rabbit in this.
I looked him up and was not satisfied that I figured out what I knew him from. He's in Beverly Hills Cop.
Yeah.
He has a very distinctive face.
It's Hollywood Vice Squad, which we brought up the other day.
Oh, yeah.
Because it had Ronnie Cox in it.
Yeah.
But don't think that was it either. But no, he has a real squinchy face.
Yes, and I feel like I immediately recognize him. He does a lot of TV stuff, but not from that. From something back in the day, and I just...
He's listed as the flashlight man for Friday the 13th, the final chapter.
I don't think I can...
Couldn't pick him out. Not in that.
Okay, well, that was a dead end.
Yeah. He was in Texas Chainsaw Massacre 3.
Oh, yeah. Right.
You know, he was in Die Hard 2, my Rennie Harlan film.
Maybe it's that.
But no, he was a navigator. I don't know. Was he...
Flight of the Navigator?
Right. No, I don't know. But no, he has a very recognizable face.
Yes.
Anyway, that's why I looked up The Exterminator.
Right. That's the only reason.
Mm-hmm. All right, closing out that tab on Rabbit. Let's go back to the movie for a minute because have you just had it playing in the background?
Yeah, kind of.
Basically, this chick shows up when they start to bus in the prisoners. It's in shambles. The prison's not in good shape, but they decide that...
There was just a scene with her and Lane Smith walking through the prison, and it looked like shit.
Yeah.
Like they had a riot, shipped everybody else out, and just boarded up the prison.
Yeah.
There's mattresses and shit laying around. But Lane Smith does have a line that says, the prisoners will do all that.
Yeah.
They'll clean it.
We'll put their asses to work.
Right.
Which it kind of makes me think, though, that when they were allowed to do this movie, that's how it looked when they walked onto the set.
Exactly, yeah. Which, I guess that was convenient.
Mm-hmm.
And it doesn't really, they clean up that main...
Yeah, the main walk.
Yeah, they clean that up.
And that's really all they needed to do.
Yeah, that's where all the kind of action happens, except for the individual cells. When they're bringing everybody in, they're real easy breezy with, what they can bring in and what they can't. That dude had, 4 necklaces on, and they let him keep all of them. All 4 of them. I can't remember that guy's name, but he had, a sock full of cigarettes. So I guess you can have cigarettes in there.
Yeah.
But they took him to solitary confinement. Shouldn't they,
taking something away from him? So basically, Rabbit and his buddy, they kick the guard off of the bus and try to steal the bus to make a run for it.
Right.
Basically, they close the main gate to the prison, and...
That's it.
That's it. They just decide to now just do donuts in the yard.
Right. Which would be fun.
Hey.
But there's a time and a place for everything. You know what I mean? Let's concentrate on breaking out of here. So so they both get solitary for what do you say, 6 months?
I think that's what they said, but don't they get back? Yeah, they get back into their cell.
No. Tom Everett does. After,
Both of these guys were actually roommates, which are bunkmates. No, it was the guy who had a Santeria freaking...
Yes, the kind of Cuban...
there you go, okay.
Yeah, that guy. The guy with 4 necklaces. And he has a, shrine to Chonga or whatever, and, where did all that shit come from?
No.
The shrine that he made, he would have to have, a small suitcase or something to keep all that stuff in. He just had a towel. He was in his underwear. Where did all that stuff that left from the previous guy?
Maybe. I don't know.
Did so much time pass between that scene and when they got there that he could accrue all that stuff?
This seems like the movie happens within just...
A few days.
Tops.
Agreed.
Right? But maybe they've been here longer because it took time to clean it up. But why would that chick be there?
Yeah, if they weren't,
she should just be there just to see that the prison's good. It's going up. It's up and running. She doesn't need to hang out in BF Wyoming.
Right. And also when it shows the yard, when they've got their cells and stuff like that, this is the next day.
Mm-hmm.
And Viggo's talking to Lasagna. Can we talk about the guy named Lasagna?
Yeah, we've got to talk about him.
Okay, so he seems like a pretty, kind of jovial guy. He's a pretty optimistic guy.
And he's a jokester, right?
Yeah.
When they first get their uniforms, the guard says, you can't have that. That's contraband. And I don't know what it is. It just looks like
it's a poster.
It's a magazine. It's what?
It's a poster.
That was the poster for Rambo?
First Blood.
Yeah. He said that, So how can the one guy get away with putting a shrine in there or bringing a shrine? Is it because of religious freedom?
And where was it?
Oh, I don't want to know where it was stashed to sneak it into prison.
You cannot keister a Cuban
challenge accepted. No, I don't want to
say bigger
that.
Than a cigar box.
That's a big. I don't know. Can't even fit that up tiny Lister's ass.
Man, hide it between his pecs.
He looks huge in this film.
Yeah, dude, there's one scene when they're all walking. He's just walking behind them, and he is like 2 feet taller than Viggo Mortensen. I love him in this. He actually really like emote. I mean, sometimes he's just there to be a great big dude.
And he's listed at 6'5".
Yeah, not super tall, but like add that he weighs like 300 pounds of just muscle.
It listed him as at 300 pounds for one movie that he was in, but he's always just been buff.
Yeah. I mean, he's got a wonky eye, but what are you gonna do?
Tommy Tiny Lister.
Right.
Again, we talked about this. How come the biggest guys are named Tiny?
It's funny when you call a big guy tiny.
He had a brief stint in the WCW world.
Oh, man.
So World Championship Wrestling, he was known as Z Gangsta.
Okay, so he is in No Holds Barred with Hulk Hogan, right?
Yes.
He is the bad guy. I think his name is Zeus.
Yes.
Oh, my God.
And it says here Lister was frustrated with being billed below Hulk Hogan.
You mean the guy that the entire thing is? Well, I could see that. He's definitely a better actor than Hulk Hogan.
Yeah, I think so.
I think.
He weighed 300 pounds at the time of Universal Soldier in 1992.
Damn, dude. He's massive.
He has, I think, over 100 credits.
He was in Friday.
And he's always been playing a big badass a lot of times.
Yeah.
He is blind in his right eye.
Oh.
So make fun of him as you wish.
What sucks is the other one's the one that's looking off crazy. So. It's not a... Okay.
He's blind in one eye and he keeps looking at the refrigerator in the background with the other.
Yep. I'm watching his scene with Lasagna right now. Lasagna's holding up. That's Rambo. It's not First Blood. I'm sorry.
Look at this guy. Look at him.
Yeah. I like that guy.
So, Lasagna,
okay.
he hasn't had much of a career.
Dude, that sounds like an 80s show. Tiny and Lasagna. The legend continues.
He was in Platoon.
Yes.
He played in the TV series for Fame, 21 Jump Street, Who's the Boss?
Oh, man.
Patriot Games.
I love 21 Jump Street.
Gettysburg, On Deadly Ground. Quit acting in 97, and he owns and runs a club in L.A. I think there's actually one in Las Vegas, too. Interesting.
That is interesting.
He actually produced a TV show called 40 Deuce.
Okay.
The trials and tribulations of a nightclub owner and the burlesque dancers of his nightclub 40 Deuce as he tries to expand it into Vegas. This is a documentary.
Okay.
This is about his club.
Oh, so, okay. I'd watch that.
Interesting.
I forgot. I got a note here. Real or actor? This is going back to when they get bussed in. Because they did use real convicts from some other. I can't remember exactly. The story's on IMDb.
Yes, I was reading that.
Some of those guys were real. Also, the guy with no front teeth that takes the young, terrified, like Ralph Macchio looking kid. He does not strike me as an actor, but he was really good in it. I mean, he was really good in his role. You know who I'm talking about?
Is he the guy with the big braid?
Yeah.
The braided hair, the one that Viggo grabs his nuts?
Yes.
Is his name Rhino?
Yes, Rhino.
Yeah.
I did not look him up, but he seems like legit, kind of, you know?
His name is Stephen Little. Again, not Little.
Yeah.
And I assume he was a prisoner because this is his only credit.
Yeah. They must have just been like, man, this guy is really fucking doing it, you know? Because he's like a main character.
In some of the trivia here for prison, most of the inmates in the film were portrayed by real-life inmates from a nearby prison to add realism to their performances. You mean they were cheap?
Yeah, right. You know we're not going to pay you.
The armed guards in the towers were, of course, armed with live ammo at the time.
Jesus.
Stephen E. Little or Rhino, was a former Hollywood stuntman.
Man, they fucking scored.
Who was still a member of the SAG, of the Screen Actors Guild, who happened to be serving time for manslaughter that he committed during a barroom brawl.
I just assume that is IBID for all stuntmen.
Mm-hmm.
Like, yeah, I did some time.
Yep.
You know,
I was a stuntman once. But do you think that the producers of this film really were like, of all the different characters we have in here, we really need an Italian, and we need to give him the most derogatory name possible.
Yes. He did not pick that name for himself. I don't think so.
I don't know.
His name is Lasagna.
All right. I know we haven't talked much about this film at all, but what is Viggo Mortensen's his roommate's name?
Stop putting that G in there. You said Morganson that time.
What?
Morganson.
I know. I can't say it. So Viggo has a cellmate. What is his name? Do you know?
The old man with the glasses?
Yeah.
Croesus.
So that is Lincoln Kilpatrick. Okay.
Lots of sarcastic nicknames in this.
Yeah, Lincoln Kilpatrick was in Soylent Green.
Oh, cool. I kept looking at the kind of Captain Horton, like his number one.
Okay.
And I could not figure out where I knew that guy from. And then you look at his IMDb, and he's basically played the same character in like 30 movies. But
really,
I think I remember him from Heartbreak Ridge.
Okay.
He's kind of like always the gruff but lovable guy. He's never plays like a evil dude.
Interesting. We have not talked about another guard by the name of Hal Landon Jr. He has the most famous death in this film.
Yeah, his death is fucking awesome.
But he is probably most well known as Ted Theodore Logan's dad.
Yeah.
From Bill and Ted.
His hair has always looked like that.
Yeah.
It looks like he is at like a Shaolin monastery or something. Should have a long braid in the back.
But if you haven't looked, Bill and Ted Face the Music, the trailer just dropped recently. It's kind of fun to watch.
Yes.
Yeah, he shows back up as Ted's dad.
Okay. He's just more bleached his face is just Nosferatu of a man. All right. We're not even...
There's not a whole lot that we have to really follow the first part of this movie.
I know. We talked about it a little bit. You don't really see all the pieces of the plot until the very end, but there's still a big hole in it. Mm-hmm. But Viggo Mortensen is considered like a badass in the prison,
Yes.
A couple of people say that to him. And he stole a car, right? He's a car thief.
Yeah.
They call him car thief a few times. That's how I know he's a car thief. So they kind of act like they know him, some of the other inmates. When he sees Lane Smith, there's some weird, connection, you feel like,
They touch on that later.
Right.
But
there's a tension there.
I didn't see this before on YouTube. For the description in here says in 1964, Charles Forsythe was killed in the electric chair. I don't know where they got that 64.
Well, I don't know. Even that would have helped me a little bit,
So I'm to the point where he gets Viggo and one of the other guys to go down, and they start breaking down the wall that's part of the old part of the building that I guess it was
walled up after their botched
execution. And there's just a small line that later in the film that say that Lane Smith killed somebody,
right,
blamed it on another person, which we can only think that maybe it was a prisoner in the jail, which he was a guard,
right, yes,
who was then sent to the electric chair and executed in the most horrible way by...
Yeah, didn't look good.
Now, the chick later finds a newspaper clipping of that The guy that was killed looks exactly like Viggo,
Yes.
but they don't.
Yeah, it is a little confusing.
Why didn't they just use another guy?
Okay, if we're going to talk about this right now, because I can't wait until the end.
All right. Well, I mean, we're not watching the film anyway.
Right. Yeah, that's true.
We can break down this film without, because we are actually, I'm on minute 23.
Yeah, I'm on minute 25.
So
I'm looking at Lane Smith's face, and he has a face like a slapped ass through this entire movie. That is how you explain his face. Somebody hit him with a fish. He does some wild acting in this. It's weird to see an older guy, like with always like a tie and a suit on, just get nuts,
Mm-hmm.
When he's talking to her in that first scene, when they're kind of walking around, and he almost is like a kind of creepy, like he's kind of giving Joe Biden vibes, like he's going to sniff her hair or give her a back rub or something.
He had another fever dream.
This one a little worse than the other one, I think. There was a scene towards the beginning where he goes down to, it's a dream sequence. He's in like a morgue or something.
It looked like he was going through the same...
Where they took the prisoner from the flashback.
Yeah, the corridor, but came to a little morgue area where we assume that was the inmate that was executed.
Right.
Because he has that crucifix necklace in his hand.
Right.
But he's rubbing at his hand like he...
Yeah.
I didn't see anything on his hand, but he was trying to wipe his hands like he had...
Like when you get honey on your hands and it's like, oh, now I'm going to have to wash my hand for like 5 minutes.
The executed prisoner, I guess, jumps up and grabs him around the neck and he starts screaming. When he wakes up sleeping on his desk, probably force drooling himself again on his desk, and grabs a pistol.
He's sleeping with the gun in his hand.
That's not good.
No.
If you have horrible nightmares, you probably shouldn't keep a loaded gun in your hand while you're sleeping.
You shouldn't do it if you're not having it, shouldn't do it at all.
Just don't sleep with a loaded gun in your hand.
If you have a CPAP machine, don't sleep with a loaded gun in your hand. It's not just for the mentally ill. Yeah, that scared me. I assume that's Kane Hodder that does the monster, because the monster is, I'm sorry, I shouldn't have said the monster.
Well, but you don't see that until the very end, but that is Kane Hodder.
Right, but that hand that goes around his face in that morgue scene.
Oh, okay.
I wasn't paying attention, and it scared me when I looked up, and it looked like Kane Hodder, just a big, beefy arm, Has anyone died yet?
Nobody dies for a while in this film. Rabbit's the first one to go. A while.
Not Rabbit. It's okay. So Rabbit and his kind of friend. You get the feeling that they know each other at least. They get put in solitary after the bus stunt, right?
For 6 months.
Right.
But it's not 6 months.
When they bust through the execution chamber.
Right. I'm just watching that scene right now.
When they break that wall down in that creepy blue light, like it turns into Carol Ann's room from Poltergeist.
He kind of gets sucked through. They're holding on to him. The boilers are going nuts.
If there's a clown just in there somewhere. But yeah, so it turns their solitary cells into like furnaces. That kind of got me too when his like Chuck Taylor start melting off and shit. And
yes,
that was scary. That was really gruesome, that scene. Viggo gets the key and tries to get him out.
Which I guess when they broke into the walled-in section of the prison is when the entity escapes and starts just going nuts and killing people.
Okay, just to keep track, there's the entity that is like haunting the prison. But then separate from that, there's also Viggo looks exactly like the guy that was executed, 30 years before or something.
But has no real connection.
Right. He doesn't talk a lot. He has like probably 6 lines in the whole movie. Mm-hmm. It's more than that, but he doesn't talk a lot. You know what? That works, because he can like kind of pull that off. He's like, mysterious looking. So you know there's something there, but they don't have to just come right out and tell you.
I'm watching that scene again where his shoes are melting. He burnt his hands. Yeah. They go to get the fire hose, and obviously nothing was up to code.
Yeah. Why did they immediately move them in when everything was so shitty? Those cells are like flooded. There's like a foot of water in it.
The makeup is really good when he catches on fire and his head is just kind of flailing about and screaming.
Yeah.
That is really creepy.
This is gross. It's not great either. No. You know? It's kind of...
It's 80s horror.
Yeah, that kind of adds to it. Didn't I try to get to this movie from the special effects guy?
Yeah.
So it was Buchler did this?
Yeah. We broke him down once. So... Viggo gets his name because he became kind of the hero when everybody else just...
Right. Yeah, and I guess everybody kind of calls him hero after that.
Yeah.
At least a couple of people did.
They call him Nut Grip after he goes after Rhino.
The Nutcracker. Oh, Nutcupper.
Squirrel. They call him Squirrel.
Nutmaster.
He's always going after the nuts.
Him and Rabbit should get together. Is that for real? I just can't imagine just grabbing some dude's nuts through jeans. And having that be a...
I've never had to do that, I guess.
No.
That wouldn't be my go-to.
No, surely not.
But I guess if you're confronted by a big guy with no teeth, you know, and you know that, you know what, I can't take this guy on. I'm just going to go right for the giblets.
I guess so.
You know what would go good with lasagna? D's.
I like it that Lasagna and Viggo become, that's like his buddy.
Yeah.
He's basically okay guy. Just kind of dumb. After that first death, which is, everybody's like, that's not normal, guys, that just happened. There's no way. How would heat even...
Had to be a gas leak.
These things aren't set up to turn into like a pizza oven or something. So everybody knows that something like supernatural is going on.
Mm-hmm. So Lane Smith goes down to where the electric chair is and returns that necklace.
Oh.
He puts that necklace, the crucifix necklace, like on the chair.
Mm-hmm.
I guess maybe he's just trying to make amends, but
it's like too little too late.
I guess that's when you know that the Croesus is tied into Lane Smith's wrongdoings.
Yeah, he knows about
what
happened. Right.
Yeah, you don't really get any idea why he knows about it. He just saw it.
Right.
And Lane Smith says, why do you think that, you had an easy time in Leavenworth?
Yeah, after he shoots his foot.
Right, yeah.
Which he shot his foot with like a 308. And then later on, he's just kind of bouncing around, escaping the prison. It just seems like his whole foot would be gone.
Mm-hmm. Is there a riot going on or something?
Yeah,
the electricity goes out.
Right, and all the cells are...
Yeah, so they shut everybody in. That's when Rabbit is doing his escape, and he gives a bracelet to his Santeria cellmate to... Here, put this on your shrine and pray for me.
Yeah, but it doesn't turn out real great.
No, his death is pretty gruesome.
It is. It's probably like kind of the lightest one. I kind of giggled at it a little bit when he's killed by pipes.
By pipes.
That's weird because that old woman told him that he was going to die by a pipe. Die by pipe.
Die by pipe?
I'm just kind of expanding the story.
It really needed some backstory on Rabbit.
That wasn't in the script, but that was his actor's secret, is that an old lady told him that he would die by pipe.
It was probably a gypsy woman, right?
It's not, I don't know if gypsy is, now you can call people gypsies.
Yeah, sure.
I have written down that after the crackdown where they inspect all the, they make them strip and they take all the stuff out of their cells and make them.
Well, he tells them to get everybody into the yard and tell them to bring their mattresses.
Oh yeah.
And
they set all the mattresses
burns
on
the
fire.
Mattresses, saying, "Here, you want to be animals? Then you get these are now cages and not cells. You don't get the comforts."
Yeah.
Yeah.
You have to sleep with your head on the toilet or something. I have written down that when they do the crackdown and throw all that stuff on the floor, like it's just a bunch of like knives and stuff like that, that it just looks like stuff from Cracker Barrel, like that they hang up on the walls. They just kind of like dumped it onto the floor.
Rabbit gets killed with these pipes, and he gets a pipe through the forehead. That's pretty cool. That's pretty. Yeah. It's a pretty cool effect. Cool. But what do they call that when you do like a reverse film? That to make things look like they're wrapping around you, you know, they would do like it's Evil Dead 2, you know, like when the tree limbs and the vines.
It did look very Evil Deadish.
Is there a name for that?
Do you mean the way that they have to shoot it back?
Right.
Make it not look, I don't know. I think it's partially like, you know, how you film it too and what the actor's doing, I think.
But I mean, that's got to be difficult. But when you see Hal Landon Jr. later.
Yeah.
That barbed wire scene, they actually do like a cam view, you know, a first person view of
that little guy like sitting up, you know, the camera's right behind him and he's almost like, you know what I mean? There's just that little bent. It looks like if the barbed wire had a little head, like a snake.
Yeah, exactly.
And it's just following it around. That was hilarious. Yeah, so he starts getting wrapped up in barbed wire. He walked past it like a giant like bale of barbed wire.
Yes.
And it's like, oh, you know, that's gonna
come into play.
Yeah. It gets all wrapped up.
Yeah, I'm just watching Rabbit as he falls through the ceiling, or what's left of Rabbit.
Yeah. That scene is gross.
Gross.
We're trying to eat lunch here.
Yeah. That mangled mess of wires and pipes and flesh is pretty gross.
Yeah. It really is.
They really did a good job with it.
Yeah, that's 2 really good deaths now.
Which is the reason why we're watching this, is just for the deaths, right?
Pretty much.
And Lane Smith's meaty face.
Yeah. When he shoots up through the fucking ceiling, Lane Smith screams, and like, he is just chewing the scenery in this movie.
Oh, yeah. That didn't really make a lot of sense to me. So when the barbed wire wraps around him, I mean, it's pretty vicious. And then it just, it like launches him?
I don't know what caused that.
I think physics are against this.
I don't think it was the barbed wire. That's what I look like when Summer has me get like the Christmas stuff out. Like the Christmas lights, you know? That's how I feel. I'm with you, buddy. Painful. The thing can do kind of whatever it wants to do, you know? It's a spirit of vengeance.
I think that this is part where they were given free reign to destroy this.
Punch a big fucking hole in the floor.
There was something in the trivia where they had to avoid that hole in the floor the rest of the film.
Somebody's going to fall in there.
Maybe we should put a board on that. Up. Who just threw a rug over this? That's not safe.
Oh, money pit.
But when that chair comes through the floor and Lane Smith jumps up, it made me like, he grabs a lamp.
You know, that's pretty common. I bet you somebody could do like a supercut of like people getting scared and grabbing lamps, like from probably 70s until today. Mm-hmm.
But just earlier, he was sleeping with a gun in his hand.
He's obviously not making sound decisions.
As he looks at the guard who was wrapped up with the barbed wire, when he gets real close to it, his mouth, I don't think could get any wider.
He's terrified, I think, you know? I mean, I would be.
Maybe I didn't see this before. I wasn't paying too close attention that the guard had the crucifix necklace in his hand. So Lane Smith obviously knows what's going on. This is not a good situation.
I think he's just, you know, being willfully ignorant at this point, because obviously the prison is possessed. It's being poltergeisted.
And what's strange is throughout this film, we've only seen him in his home in like one scene. Yeah. So he's basically just living at the prison.
He's been walking around with this, it's not guilt. I think he really thinks that like karmically something is going to happen to him. Or, I mean, I guess you can assume that he's been having those horrific nightmares for years.
But truthfully, though, the ghost in this prison is not necessarily picking off guards or people that were even involved.
He's an equal opportunity poltergeist. Kill everybody. I mean, that's what a spirit of vengeance does.
So everybody's out in the yard in their BVDs. A lot of beefy-faced men just standing around.
Well, that's what I was saying about doing when they were jumping off the bus. Like, actor, real actor, real actor, They've got a giant mullet and a tattoo on their neck. They're probably the real deal. Or they're Danny McBride.
So Lincoln Kilpatrick, Croesus, shoots himself in the... Hey, I don't know. We don't know how he got the gun,
I missed that part. Does it just open on him already with the rifle?
Yeah, so everybody runs out into the yard.
Right.
The warden runs out, and he's got the gun, and he's pointing it at one of the guards, and...
Tiny Lister's trying to talk him out of it.
And he shoots himself in the foot.
Right.
On purpose.
Right.
Is that just so he could...
I think he knows shit's getting ready to go down, and he's got to get out of there.
So this is the easiest way, is shooting himself in the foot?
Yeah.
Okay.
Like, they seem like they're in the middle of nowhere. Maybe he has to go to, like, a hospital or something.
But no, they just take him inside to the infirmary.
Right. And handcuff him to the bed.
And, yeah. Which was strange, because later they handcuff everybody to the bed.
Yes.
Now they have no mattresses. They force everybody back into their cells, handcuff them all to the bed, but then the spirit comes through with its electric force, whatever, and...
It can open doors and Snapple chain link apart. That's all it does.
Yeah.
Oh, and gruesomely kill people.
Control big guns.
Yeah.
Even load the guns.
Yeah, don't think about that part too long, because earlier it had to use the Christmas lights to shoot a shotgun, and
exactly.
That's like, if you could do that, then why wouldn't you just, I guess, stylistically, I don't know.
There's some loose ends in this movie.
Yeah, for sure. That one kid that looks like Ralph Macchio, he's got a real loose end now.
Oh.
Bunking with Rhino.
Rhino. He could probably keister that idol now.
No. Just sits down on it. Okay, enough of that.
So, our girl, she's still hanging out in this hotel, right?
Yes.
So, she has a computer that, oh, dude, I didn't catch that before. Her alarm clock starts flashing 1964.
Oh, I didn't notice that either. So the thing has extended to, just because she left doesn't mean that she's out of it.
It's like reaching out to her
to the Motel
to
8.
unravel a mystery.
Yeah.
It prints something out on her computer. It does it twice. And the second time, I didn't really get what it was trying to say. And it said, the prison ends tonight, or something like that.
That is lame. I completely missed that.
Her computer actually says 1964, and like she unplugs it and it's still doing its thing.
Like they got nervous or something that they weren't going to, they had to like restate it again. They thought maybe the plot was too hard to figure out, which it is.
I still have a problem with them saying that she finds a newspaper clipping with the guy who looks just like Viggo.
Yeah.
It's loose.
If that's all they've got, then I'd rather not even see that scene.
Exactly.
Because whatever I'm coming up with is better than that.
That's what I'm thinking.
Yeah, I think that's what that was for, is they were worried that people wouldn't get it.
Lane Smith is he putting wax on his bullets? What is he doing?
Yeah, I don't know.
I can't do this scene. I need something to interact with. Like what?
I guess something crazy for me to do.
Shoe polish and some bullets. I'm good.
Yeah. It's too rural to have those like kinetic balls, that just like click, clack,
Now we see the chick here, and she's reading the newspaper about Forsyth sentenced to die, and it shows
Viggo, same hair and everything.
On the newspaper here, it says, state's key witness. Testimony given by Wyoming State Penitentiary inmate Burton Croesus, who was the old man, and the WSP corrections officer Ethan Sharp, who is
Lane Smith.
was used to convict Charles Forsyth of beating a fellow prisoner to death. Forsyth was sentenced to the electric chair yesterday, despite continuing claim of his innocence.
And I'm sorry, Croesus was a guard, correct? Not just happened to be incarcerated there?
I thought he was incarcerated. Let me go back and
I don't
read
know.
it again.
I don't even know if they make that clear. I'm sorry. I don't want to make it harder than it is. I just feel like he was, but even that's weird. Like, so his is hard to understand because that would mean that if he was a convict in the flashback, then he just happened to get sent back to the same prison after it closed on the day that it opens again. So is that the thing doing that? No, because, but then the other thing is he would be a guard in the flashback and then a prisoner in the, either way, it's just too weird. I don't know. I'm thinking about this way too hard.
Now, it says the inmate, Croesus, and the corrections officer, Sharp.
Okay. Gotcha. Thank you. Thank you so much for that clarification. Also, he was drinking Lysol in that first scene with him and Viggo.
Was it Lysol?
Yes, he said. I turned the subtitles on.
Viggo helped him pour it. Right?
I know. He's enabling him. And plus, where did he get Lysol from?
I don't know. Keistered that too.
It's not like he has his own bottle in his cell.
Lots of loose buttholes.
Yeah, this Ethan Sharp is not a good warden. It's not just that he was involved in a cover-up or whatever. He's just not good at it. He's not good at administration.
So Lane Smith is sitting at his desk. It may be the only scene he has his mouth closed, but he's got this lowbrow look, this furrowed...
He looks like an ape.
Yes. He looks like he's just waiting to throw his own poo.
Yeah, or the lamp. The lamp and his poo. That's just not the first thing that I think of. Grab the lamp.
And so everybody's freaking out. There's a thunderstorm coming, and everybody can just, I guess, feel the energy. That's what this is all building up to.
Yeah. Something's going to happen.
Yeah. And so our guy who's practicing Santeria.
Mm-hmm. His name is...
I've only said it like 6
Sandor.
times. Sandor.
You always say it like that, too. Like he's a magician.
Maybe he is. But his death is pretty damn cool, I think.
He's like doing a ritual, basically.
Yeah, and he's telling this entity to show itself.
Yeah, I think he's taken it upon himself to try to talk to the thing.
Right. And, it was a mistake. I'm just going to say it.
He should have just hunkered down.
So this light bursts through the wall and hits him. He cut his chest.
Yeah, he cut a circle in his chest.
Was it just a circle, or was there an actual meaning behind this? Was it a ritualistic type thing? I was curious.
It was a ritualistic type thing. But the special effects look really weird, like the top layer of his...
When the light blows through his chest.
Right. Like in Real Genius when the laser cut through the statue and all.
So the light bursts through his chest. That's what releases the electricity or the lightning that basically breaks everybody's handcuffs when they're attached to their bunks.
Yeah, right.
Even Tiny Lister's confused. He's like,
man,
I could have broken this myself, but...
Yeah, exactly. Why don't they just let him jump through one of the walls or something? So Lasagna is clearly the leader of the riot. Lasagna and Rhino, they team up briefly to try to see if they can, if there's any guards in the turrets, or in the towers.
Well, I think Rhino said, hey, I don't see any guards out there. And basically, I think he leads Lasagna to his death. Yeah. Yeah, they're teaming up, but he's like... I
wrote Lasagna's last stand. I think it's blown away by maximum overdrive machine guns.
Yeah, that's perfect.
But see, that's what, you can't think too hard about it, but it's like Why did it need barbed wire to shoot the shotgun? And yet these things can just like
load themselves.
Fully animated. I don't know.
During the riot, when everybody's breaking out, though, you failed to mention that, Tiny Lister trying to talk the guard down with the shotgun.
Oh, God. Yeah.
And
he is constantly walking towards guns in this movie. And he gets shot, and he's like, what the hell?
It's pretty freaking frightening when he gets shot and just kind of flips out, starts beating himself, and it's just doing a Mark Wahlberg.
Yeah. I'm not going to let this little sucking chest wound get me down.
I love this because he picks the guard up over his head, and I'm pretty sure that there were no wires or anything involved. No. I think he just grabbed the guard by his chest and his crotch and just picked him up over his head.
The guard looks like Pee-wee from Porky's, basically. He's like a 5'5".
You mean Dan Monahan?
Oh, man. I guess. I don't have room for that type of stuff.
I'm not going to get it wrong this time.
You thought it was Joel Grey. No. Peter McNichol.
Right. We're not going down there again. Since you already brought up Viggo.
Just listen to the, what episode is that on?
Uh-huh. Listen to the 3 episodes where I avoid it. And since you're not going to say it, me is Viggo.
Oh, man.
Yes, Peter McNichol is not Pee-wee and Porky's.
I thought there for a second we might actually get through this without saying he is Viggo.
Well, hey, you brought him up.
Handled ourselves like adults earlier.
When? I missed that. I'll have to rewind it and find out at what point did we act like adults.
Did it go off the rails? So we had Lasagna's last stand. Did Rhino get shot too?
Rhino just kind of chickens out and starts running back towards the door, which Ralph Macchio traps him outside.
Yeah.
And basically he's like, fuck him.
Yeah. Exactly.
You sand the floor.
No,
he doesn't get shot. He gets a pickaxe.
Oh, right.
Through part of his body. It doesn't really show it. It shows him being pinned to the door and the pickaxe coming through the other side of the door.
Right.
But doesn't necessarily show where it pinned him.
Yeah.
And the only goof that's on this movie for IMDb was when Lasagna got shot. One of the empty squibs flies out of his shirt.
Yeah, I kind of noticed that wasn't. He does a real scarecrow dance. Like he's doing it for like 10 whole seconds. Uh-huh. I love that. Just act like you're getting shot. Every actor must have a different, method.
I want to get a look here. I'm going to rewind it a little bit and look at this pickaxe as it goes through Rhino here. Mm-hmm. It goes through his ass.
No.
It does. You can pause that. Everybody, all of our listeners, you can pause that and get a good look at it. I'll give you a time here in just a second. But it throws you off because Ralph Macchio, he does sit down against the door. Yeah, that's what was kind of confusing because it was right at his face level.
Has that whole computer been in her car this whole time?
Probably. So pickaxe through Rhino's ass is at 131.33. There you go.
I'm going to it.
You're going to it.
131. Okay, here we go.
Now you got to see it.
This movie will get it's just 1,000 times better if it's through that. Oh my God, it does. Mm-hmm. So okay. He's sitting down.
Yes.
That's what I was. That's why I was like.
I was confused there too. That's why Ralph Macchio is sitting down on the other side of the door. That's why it's still at head level.
This time, behind bars for that guy, his genitals are just non-existent. They're gone. This movie hates his
junk.
That's an ass.
Rhino's junk.
Yeah.
I'm not saying that Lane Smith's death in this is cheap.
Yeah.
Hal Landon Jr. he got wrapped up with freaking barbed wire. That was a kick-ass death.
Yeah. I mean, that scene is badass. That final scene. everything blows up. His car blows up like there's a fucking
C4 under the chair, right?
Yeah.
Somebody rigged it with C4.
Yeah, it just makes a huge explosion. When she comes to the prison and Viggo has to climb that thing, it's the barbed wire.
Yes, I didn't realize that. I thought it was just some wiring from the mechanism for the door.
Light.
But no, when he's climbing up, you see there's one shot that really kind of closes in on the barbed wire.
Yeah, his hands are all messed up.
When he's trying to manually open the door with that winch thing or whatever, he's screaming because his hands. Yeah.
Trying to decide if that is a stuntman or not. I think he did this stunt himself.
It read that Viggo did most of his own stunts.
Yeah, that looks real. I mean, that wall's like fucking, 30 feet high or something.
Moreover, stunt coordinator Kane Hodder gave Mortensen an honorary stuntman shirt at the completion for shooting this film.
How fucking cool is that?
Hey, you did all my work. Here's a shirt.
Yeah. Now I want to know what all he did in this movie, Kane Hodder.
For most of his films, I mean, he started out as a stuntman coordinator.
Right. Lane Smith, they've got him. That guy is basically turning into Samuel L. Jackson. And they've got him in the back seat.
Oh, yeah. He shot who in the face?
Oh.
I shot Marvin in the face.
Yeah, exactly. And then that's a kind of creepy scene where he's dead.
Yeah.
And Lane Smith pulls the gun out of his hand.
I didn't realize he was dead. I mean, I don't know why he died. He was shot in the arm and the shoulder by that guard, and he shot himself in the foot.
Yeah.
But
right.
I just thought he had that shit-eating grin on his face. What a face to die with, really. It
was weird. It was almost like like the guy from It, and he does that weird like Pennywise thing. But dude, Lane Smith, he takes the gun, shoots a couple of times at Viggo and the girl, and then steals the cop car, or just like gets in the cop car and drives off. He's just like, man, I've just got to, once I get out of here, I swear, I'm just going to open that little
flower shop.
Yeah. And, but obviously that's not going to happen.
So the electric chair with Forsyth just burst through the ground?
Yeah. And a huge explosion of dirt and fake concrete.
And then just shoots electricity out. I mean, he's full on Palpatine at this point.
Somewhere between that and like an orgasm. It's like going nuts in that. I just wonder what he, as an actor, felt like after that.
Are you proud of what you did here?
Yeah. Just need the paycheck and buy that boat. But yeah, and the monster, I do love that there is a like physical manifestation of the spirit of vengeance. But I feel like once this is, because the credits are getting ready to roll, he shoots Palpatine electricity at him. He looks like Bill Murray's boss in Scrooge when he comes back.
Okay.
Kind of, he's just like white and kind of sooty, but it looks really fucking cool. It was a good ending. I'm with you though. He should have had a more like Event Horizon or like Final Destination
there
death.
You go. So we end just on right before the credits roll. You see barbed wire and the necklace hanging from the barbed wire.
Yeah.
All right. As Viggo limps off into the...
You assume?
I find that really strange because...
I feel like this could be another hour long because I've got so many questions about the last 15 minutes of the movie.
Well, the girl...
I guess she's just Viggo's girlfriend now.
When Lane Smith comes out, she comes to rescue them, but then Lane Smith is like, no, you've got to...
Oh, yeah.
Viggo basically says, well, who do you want to believe? I'm like, well, you're a convict. He's a crooked warden.
Yeah. Yeah, you do the math. You have tiny gaps in all of your teeth. Weird. So my main question is Viggo just a harbinger of what is going to happen, and he's not aware of any of this? He's just like kind of going through these, sort of preordained motions,
Or
Or does he have an awareness of this like spirit of vengeance?
Well, he doesn't let on at all.
Is the spirit like in him, inhabiting him, or is he just kind of a
a weird coincidence?
Yeah, right, exactly. So I think that's what they were trying to do. Is like they thought that he could project that, there's some link between him and Lane Smith and the prison. But then the way that they kind of back that up isn't explained very well. But I mean, I kind of like that. I'm not to spoon feed me everything. I can figure it out.
But you would think there would be a few more scenes with Lane Smith and Viggo in there to show the weird
connection.
Yeah. The warden specifically asked for him and the other guy to go break down the wall. Sandor.
But yeah.
To go break down the wall to the old part where he was executed?
He seems almost like he is sort of like fulfilling a prophecy or something, I like that the best, I think, where all these people are, inexplicably drawn together, but they're aware of these like synchronicities, but are helpless to do anything about it. That's cool.
All right.
That's what I think the plot is, and I'm sticking to that because it lets me enjoy it more.
What drew me to this movie, I think, was always the barbed wire around Hal Linden.
That's what you think of when you think of the movie.
Yeah.
I remember liking it well enough, and then it got to the very end, and there was an actual like monster. I appreciated that. They could have just had shit, same as before, just, inanimate objects come to life and kill people. I appreciated that there was a rotting corpse that shot lightning out of its hands and face.
At least for a few seconds.
The eyes look really cool, too. I
holes,
couldn't tell you what. Yeah, no CG either. It's kind of, refreshing to watch something that literally, that like kind of fake lightning, looked like out of a Queen video or something. Oh, I was going to say earlier, have we ever brought up Pulse on this podcast?
No,
the movie
maybe.
Are you messing with me?
No, I don't remember going on and on about it, though.
Okay, good. Well, I liked that movie, but you know what I'm talking about? What movie I'm talking about? The house kind of I think it gets struck by lightning. Pretty simple story.
There was a movie just not too long ago that was called Pulse that was not the same movie.
Oh, yeah. Right.
Can you recall who was in it?
Cliff DeYoung. I always get him confused with Wings Hauser.
Yeah, they look so much alike.
They do.
But yeah, Pulse was, I can picture the cover because I love that cover.
Yeah. Yeah. It's kind of got a chick getting electrocuted in like a leotard.
1988. So that was just about the same time.
88? Really?
Yeah.
I thought this was later than that. Oh, Joey Lawrence is in it.
Unfortunately.
Looks like he's about 13. Yeah, for sure. Like, when does he get like electrocuted and his head explode? I'll just skip to that part. But this was on TV a lot when I was, I don't know.
Yeah, I'd be interested in going back to this. Pulse was written by the same guy who did Beat Street.
Beat Street. See, I get that confused with Breaking.
Yeah.
As the minute that this podcast is over, I am trying to find this on Amazon Video.
Which one, Beat Street or Pulse?
Both.
Both?
The one with Ray Sean.
Right.
Man, there's a bunch of breakdancing movies.
Yeah, Cliff DeYoung, is he even still around anymore? Yeah, he's still alive.
He's, in my mind, he's in another movie. He also looks a lot like Michael Moriarty.
Yeah.
He's like if Michael Moriarty and Wings Hauser had a baby.
There you go.
And then it had plastic surgery because it was too hideous to walk away.
Cliff DeYoung was in RoboCop 4.
There's a RoboCop 4?
That's what I was getting ready to ask you.
There's a remake?
RoboCop 4, or AKA RoboCop 4, The Future of Law Enforcement.
Oh, okay. Now they're just fucking with it.
No, it's there.
Huh.
It says the frequently asked questions, there are no questions, and I want to add one in there as there's a RoboCop 4?
That's a whole
Really?
That's a whole other podcast.
Richard Eden played Alex Murphy
And RoboCop 4.
in RoboCop 4. I might have to find this because
I don't even have the energy to type that in. I'm not even going to look at it.
But he played Alex Murphy, and maybe it was because there was a TV series, right?
Reprising his role?
Yeah, he played Alex Murphy in the TV series, and then I guess they made a movie from the TV series. I've got more questions than I want right now.
I'm not going to lie. I lost you somewhere. What are we talking about?
Why is there a RoboCop 4? And
okay.
Yeah.
That's what I thought we were talking about. Good to be on solid ground again. Yeah, you're right. RoboCop 4. There's no pictures for it.
Everybody took a Smithy.
Yeah, for sure. Oh, well.
Anyway.
Now we know to watch out for that.
Yep. I want to keep away from Cliff DeYoung now. So.
Yes, stay far away.
far away.
He was in The Craft?
Yeah, he was in Dr. Giggles, too.
Oh. Tracy Lords is the male lady in the Tommyknockers. Didn't remember that.
Cliff DeYoung was in FX? Is he the bad guy?
I don't know. I think he's pretty much the good guy. Oh, wait, he is in FX. Brian Brown standing in front of a Fade to Black poster, badass Fade to Black poster.
What a good movie.
Yeah. Oh, he was also the cop in Flashback, which I saw, I don't know, 4,000 times.
Oh, see, now I had to go back to realize because of Pulse is why we got on Cliff DeYoung. Like, why did we end up here?
Yeah. We just got off the highway to get gas, and now we've kind of gotten turned around, and we're kind of like getting into like a bad part of town.
Yeah. And I know we just left the gas station, but now I have to pee. Yeah.
Yeah. Can't find my debit card. That's what it feels like.
Yep. Welcome to our world.
We're spinning out on Cliff DeYoung. We need to wrap it up.
All right. Well, Prison, though. Fun movie.
Oh,
good deaths.
Really cool deaths.
Yeah. Good effects.
Ooh.
You have anything else to offer?
Not really. Go see all the Viggo Mortensen movies. Go see Lord of the Rings. If you've got a weekend to kill.
Or a week off.
There's
40 pics.
Yeah, for the IMDb.
Of the movie, and you get to basically see all the deaths.
It's on YouTube, uncensored. Pretty good quality, too.
Yeah, unfortunately, I think the one I was watching had Spanish subtitles, so did not help me whatsoever.
Mm-mm.
There's a couple of good shots, though. You get to see the monster that is Kane Hodder. You get to see some good close-ups in these pics, so you can actually see what his makeup looks like.
Yeah.
He had pretty good makeup, and you kind of get lost because it's so quick.
Yeah, and there's lots of that, like, lightning effect going on. And, yeah, you don't really see him up close for very long, but it's still pretty cool.
So, and you get to see how Landon Jr. wrapped up in barbed wire.
Yeah.
It's good stuff. The German box art for Prison looks pretty wild.
Ooh, German box art for Prison. Do not look that up, guys.
Here's a Japanese version that actually shows the pic of Forsyth that I don't think was in the movie. But you can see it looks like there was a stitching where his chest was cut open for like an autopsy.
Oh, okay. Like his actual body.
Yeah, he's got his arms up in the air. It looks like he's kind of just dancing.
You know what they usually do? Maybe this is just too corny to do anymore, but the flashback, if it's from the 50s or something, they shoot it in black and white. And then you just know that it's a go, Maybe that's what was confusing. Like on Night of the Creeps, like the intro or the beginning of Night of the Creeps.
I'm with you.
I prefer sharp, crisp black and white to hazy.
There.
Oh, that's just my opinion, though.
That and a token, you can get on the bus.
Yeah. Wait, what?
All right, let's wrap this up. Do you have anything else to add?
No. I like that movie.
Yeah, I'll watch it again.
Yeah, I probably will, too. Make my wife watch it.
I made mine watch it last night.
See if she can hold her breakfast down when she watches Rabbit come down out of the ceiling. That was gross.
It was good effects. We'll have to travel back and look at that in the yarn wall.
Yeah, sure. Nothing is truly finished. We can talk about it some more.
You'd think we get tired of talking at one point. No, this was sober.
Yeah.
I have a feeling I'm going to have to edit in some canned laughter, some
burps. Burps.
Random flatulence to beef this up.
Maybe we should just drink like A&W root beer instead, and that way we'll simulate, you know?
Right. I could, I guess, get a sound effect of a can popping open.
Yeah, you could.
All right, well, let's get out of here.
Okay.
All right, signing off.
Signing off. Ciao.
Ciao, baby. You've been listening to The Moratorium, an MT Cornfield production. For more fun and stupidity, stay tuned. Next week, Jason and I break down this horror/revenge/ghost story and then take a peek into some interesting careers of a few character actors. Check out our website for everything Moratorium, including movie links, movie reviews, merch, and more. Again, please like, share, and subscribe, then rinse and repeat. We appreciate your support. If you have any movie suggestions, or just want to tell us how much we really suck, you can contact us at moviemoratorium@gmail.com. Thanks for listening, and long live VHS.
My yablons look bigger than they were last time.